What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Viva Los Bills. I'm your host, Will Fong, aka Buffalo Will, joined as always by everybody's favorite cousin
What
Vinny.
up? What up? What up? What's up?
Yo, this is not even playing. We just gone on. We didn't even talk to each other. We ain't got
Nothing.
nothing scheduled up. We're just gonna flow. I got some papers
Just
here.
going.
We haven't gone over anything.
We're just gonna
Whatever
wing it.
it is. No. Yeah, we're gonna start winging it. What you got? What you got?
What I got? Let me see.
Oh, there you
What
go.
what
Let's
you got?
see.
What you got?
So I stopped yesterday and I went. I got a dog fish head beer. It's called
Nice.
60-minute IPA.
Nice.
Continuing 60 minutes for an intense yet enticing hop-centric experience. That's what I got. I don't think
Let me
I've
see.
ever had
I went.
Labatt's Blue. Yep.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That Canadian beer.
That's right. That's right. I'm giving it a shot. It's yeah, Canadian Pilsner. I'm not too crazy about the Pilsner, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Ready?
Actually, I used to drink it back in the day. Oh, here we go.
All
As
right.
always, for all the Bills fans, everybody watching, the Buffalo. Cheers.
Salud.
Salud. Chindan. I don't remember the rest. For the first sip, I'll keep it like that. But now I'm gonna get classy and have it pour it in my
Oh
chilled
Lord.
Buffalo Bills, even though it's not Bud Light back here, whatever. My Buffalo Bills, pinky in
It's
the
pretty
air.
good.
Yeah, I used to drink it. I mean, that's not a bad beer. I like it. This isn't bad actually. I thought it'd be kind of rough or really hoppy, and it's not. But I poured it too.
So what is it again? So we can write it down.
Oh, what do you mean? So we don't drink it again?
What's the beer? Yeah.
This is Dogfish Head, 60-minute IPA.
Those are good, man.
I almost went with one of your big voodoo beers that you had because they had the big cans. So I was like, let me just get one big can. Should last throughout the show, and I won't have to worry about anything like that.
This sucker right here should last me a little while. But yeah, this is a Labatt Blue. Nice Canadian Pilsner. A lot of Buffalo Bills fans drink this. I got a couple different beers that I bought, but I'm gonna do it like we said. We're gonna do one a week. And hey, I'm celebrating, bro.
Oh,
Celebrating. Celebrating.
Well, you got that?
That
New?
he ain't gonna change. He ain't gonna change his number. I get to keep the jersey.
What's up with the? See, we have to talk because that's part of the show later. But
My bad. I'm celebrating though. Hey, I'm celebrating.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know he was looking to either possibly go with number 1 or 7. I was reading, but he said he's going to keep it with number 14, pretty much, so the fans don't have to go out there and buy more jerseys. I don't know if the Pagulas are happy about his decision because that would have been a whole bunch of no sales if he did switch it. So they might be like, "Come on, Stefan," but either way, they're selling a lot of his jerseys. They sold them last year, and if he continues to work like he says he's doing, and he said, I don't know if you saw that video of him saying he's got to prove himself to everybody to prove him who the man is and how good of a player he really is and so forth. So, I mean, hey, if that's what it takes to get done, get her in, get it done.
Yeah, man. He said it too. He said, I don't care about proving it to everybody. I'm trying to prove it to myself. So, and that's great motivation. That's a great video. Great motivating video.
And that's the first person you got to prove it to, yourself. Then he was also, I don't know if you saw the one, him doing workouts in sand, pushing himself. So
Yep. I seen that. And I seen the one where he's working out against his brother.
I did not see that one though.
Yeah. He was going with what the heck's his number? His brother from Dallas. I always forget his name. Diggs.
Yeah,
I forgot his first name. Yeah, but
Diggs. Good job.
The kid, they were working really well. I mean, the kid knows his, Stefan's moves, man. I mean, he's good. They're both good. They were both going at it pretty well. If y'all look at it on the video, I think it's on Buffalo Bills Fandemonium. I think it was. I saw it at. Shout out to them guys. But
what position does he play?
Corner.
All right. Well, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about him last year. I actually had him. I was hoping we would pick him up in the draft last year.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't want to pan it. Yeah.
I remember. Hey, man, that's good. I mean, if you're going to get better,
I think it's Trayvon. I think his name is Trayvon.
Trayvon Diggs. I think you're right.
Yeah.
If you want to get better, You got to go against some of the best players. So he's lucky to have his
Absolutely.
brother there, and it'll just get
Absolutely.
him even better, getting better and better and better, and so forth.
Yes, sir.
So, what else is
You
there?
know, if you practice like crap, this is a bad thing. You grew up playing sports. I grew up playing sports. So one of
Mm-hmm.
my coaches used to say, if you practice like crap, you're gonna play like crap. If you practice against crap, you're gonna play like crap. So that it's true what you said. If you practice against the best of the best, creme de la creme, when it comes game time, man, everything else is easy.
Yeah, you get used to going against the best.
Pushed.
So when you play against other guys, it's like, all right, this is what you got.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
Doesn't ain't much. So
Yep.
yeah, no, it's true. I always like practicing against everybody. When I used to play corner, and then I moved to strong safety. But again, I'm not at these guys' level. But I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed playing and practicing against all the better guys. And like I said, you could have been fast, and if I knew you were faster than me, I give you more cushion. But once I started getting comfortable, I gotta get closer and closer and closer.
Press them.
Yeah, well, I never really pressed. We never pressed, but I would give like 5 yards, 4 yards, and I would just creep in closer, even playing in dumb leagues later on in life. That's what I used to do. But nah, you want to be the best, you practice against the best and keep going like that. What else? So I guess we'll start getting into some of this crazy news. The one topic we've talked about week in and week out so far has been Deshaun Watson. You know, I think at one point, I think now it's finally at 22 cases against him. His for the first time he filed his document in his pending assault cases. For the first time, he filed paperwork in support of his position, pretty much filing a notion to strike the complaints by one of his 22 accusers, saying that the case should be refiled in her real name. So pretty much what I'm looking at is that they're saying, listen, if you want to go and look at it the bad way, hey, they want their names out there. And just like other athletes in the past who have had similar cases, these women get attacked like crazy. They get threatened, people go after them, and a lot of the times they can't take it, lose interest, and drop the charge or whatever. So I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, because so far it's only 1 against 22. So they got to redo the same thing, I guess, for 22 women. Well, not even 22. I believe 2 women already came out, refiled with their name on there and said, hey, we're not scared no more. We'll put our
Yeah.
names out there. It is what it is. So, and another thing I was reading, I believe it was an article on Bleacher Report, I believe it was, that they were saying he had up to 50 masseuses. I know last week we joked around that it was 38. Like you can't find 2 or 3 good ones out of 38. But rumor was now they were up to like 50 masseuses. That's crazy,
insane,
man. It's insane.
It's insane.
So,
I think they're talking about tomorrow. They're having an emergency meeting, emergency hearings, in terms of they're gonna have to have, just like what you're talking about, have these women come out and that are anonymous and get their names out. There's gonna be one at 8:45 in the morning, and then the other one's gonna happen at noon. So we're gonna find out who these women are. If they step forward and give their names. If not, maybe out of them 22, maybe 3 or 4 of them won't show. But still, it's a great amount of accusations, man. A lot of people. That's anything more than one is bad. You know what I mean? And to have 22, let's say 4 or 5 of them drop, that's still 15, 16. That's a big amount of a large amount of accusations. So it ain't really looking good for him, man. And then his lawyers, contending that about the hush money situation, that is not true. So it's a whole scenario going on there, and we're gonna keep y'all updated as soon as we hear what goes on the next show. We'll let you know.
Actually, I'm going to read the statement from, I guess, his lawyer, Rusty Hardin. One thing he put out there was like, I would put it up there, but it's so small we can't see it. And I actually downloaded it. We have said this before. We want to say it again. Deshaun did not force, coerce, or intimidate anyone to do anything against their will. When we asked Mr. Busby to identify his clients weeks ago, he refused and told us to file a notion. Today, we filed that notion. As discussed in our filings, Mr. Busby used anonymous lawsuit violates Texas law and the basic concepts of fairness. It is clear that for Mr. Busby, this case has never been seeking justice in a courtroom, but destroying Deshaun's reputation to enhance his own public profile and enrich himself. While I understand that anonymity often is used as a shield for victims, Mr. Busby is using it as a sword while shielding his clients from public scrutiny. See, that's the one thing, like I said, they're looking for public scrutiny to
Yeah.
probably shake these women. Again, this is my assumption for what I'm looking at, to shake these women. But anyway, it continues. Mr. Busby continues to use their anonymous allegations to destroy Mr. Watson. This is simply not right, and we look forward to resolving these matters in court. So, if that's the case, hey, all of them are going to have to get in court, and they're going to have to prove either way. Let's see what happens. If he didn't do it, I
Absolutely.
hope. If he didn't do it, and he's like free of these charges, I hope it comes out. And if that's the case, then he gets to sue them for defamation. They don't have what
Absolutely.
he has, but if they're trying to drag his name through the mud with false allegations, then he needs to go back at them hard. But if
Yeah, and
he
I think.
is,
Go
go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I was gonna say
I
if he
think
is
another.
guilty, then
Yeah,
damn.
if he is guilty, let him get the hardest extent of the law. But
Mhm.
at the same time, they're trying to get the women out of anonymity and then whatever,
Anonymity, yeah.
because there might be other witnesses that come up and that say, hey, that woman accused me of that also. So they're looking for character witness too. I mean, he has to have some type of defense. And I think one of the two women that were named, one was Ashley Solis and
Yes.
Lauren Baxley. Those are the two that came out that their name have been put on, that they've been said on the news. But like like I said, people want to know who these people are because they might be cases just like you get some false insurance claims. People trying to get a false
Yeah.
insurance in the car and stuff. If they have a previous, if they have I'm trying to see like a chain of events, like they've done it before. They want to see if they have previous lawsuits against people for the same exact thing. So I think that's the reason why they want to know their names and get their
Mhm.
their witness credibility and stuff like that. But I mean, we need to know who they are too, and that way, it could bring light to other people. Because there's probably, there's 38 that we said that it was up to 38.
Yeah.
Who knows? There might be even more. There might even be more. And
Yeah.
and if other women see that the names come up, maybe they'll be bold enough to come out again. But then again, this is all hearsay, man. I mean, he's innocent till proven guilty.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to see how it plays out. But to me, it's not really looking good.
Yeah. No, like you said, one is Ashley Solis, Lauren Baxler. Remember that name? Solis told reporters during a press conference Tuesday. I was afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. Solis
Mm.
said, Watson assaulted me in my home. I can no longer practice the profession I love most. She said, I got into massage therapy to heal people. He took that away from me.
Wow.
Man. So, and then I guess her or the attorney for Baxley read a letter for her client directed at Watson. A letter from another woman who's filed against Deshaun Watson is being read. The woman isn't here. The woman called Watson a predator with power in the letter and says he is a malicious designed facade to keep his victims second guessing themselves.
A
So, I
facade.
mean,
Yeah.
a
Well,
facade. Sorry, and there's more and more, and this just does not look good for this guy. I
yeah,
mean,
man.
I guess other
If it
teams. Go ahead.
the crazy thing about it, if he doesn't, like, there's some people, like Michael Jackson, they say he was innocent, he paid. There's several cases that they paid just not to go to court because if
Mm-hmm.
they go to court, these witnesses are going to take the stand and they're going to get into graphic detail. Now, there was a couple of, we can't talk about it the way, some of the
Yeah,
description of the stuff that happened, but when I read some of the descriptions that happened and the stuff that he wanted done to him and so on and so forth, it's pretty graphic. So I don't know what position he's going to take. If he's going to want to, if it's not true, just go with it.
mm-hmm.
Go through the trial and have
Yeah,
to put himself through all that questioning and all the stuff that these women are, allegations that these women have, or just pay out and avoid it, even though he might not be guilty. It's a really thin line, man. So, if he pays, then the public will think, well, he's guilty. That's why he's paying. But then again, you could understand because he don't want to put himself through all those false allegations if they are false allegations. So it's just a mess, man. No
I
matter
mean,
which way he turns, no matter what he does, it's going to be a mess. Whether he's guilty or not, he's still
mhm.
going to pay for it. And years from now, he's still going to be known for this. So it's sad, bro.
But I tell you this right now: if you're innocent and they're accusing of something, aren't you going to fight it?
Absolutely,
I'm not going to
absolutely,
pay.
you would.
I'm not going to pay anyone off, especially if I'm
No,
innocent.
I know, but
Because
there's some devious people out here, man. You don't want to go in court and have them say stuff, and you're like, man, that shit ain't true. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That ain't true. But people to get the fame and get a little bit of money will do anything. So you never know. Money is an evil thing, and
yeah.
some of these women, hopefully, they're speaking the truth. But you know as well as I know that money's evil, and people do crazy things for money.
But I mean, it would be pretty hard. Excuse me,
Yeah.
22 to go all be lying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just putting all scenarios out there, and
yeah.
it's a bad situation he's in.
I get
To
it.
me, it's a no win situation for him, no matter how it pans out.
I think I was reading the week before last week before we got on that there was chances that he was going to settle some of these things,
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's because more people came out that he's not doing it, or I don't know. But there was rumors he was going to settle some, and
oof.
because if you settle one, then you're going to have to settle 22 pretty much.
That's right.
It's going to
That's
be
right.
a pretty penny, and if you're innocent, that's a pretty hard pill to swallow. But if you're not, you're going to be paying. So who knows?
I think when it's all said and done, Tyrod Taylor probably be the starter over there.
Well, he's probably going to start. If there's
Yeah.
any truth to this, he's going to get suspended.
Suspended regardless. Yeah,
They were already saying they could put him on the commissioner's exempt list, and I guess they won't have to pay him
wow.
until this is all found out. But that's stuff they can do. It hasn't been said it's going to happen. They're just saying, like, they wrote it out there. Pretty much, I was like last week we reported that they said that, hey, the NFL can suspend him already if he wants under the player conduct, but they haven't. NFL's been
Let
very
me
hush on this. Been
let me
quiet.
ask you a question.
Good.
Let me ask you a question. You know the stuff that was going on, that he was feuding with the management and the stuff with the contract, and he wanted to get out of there. You think management already knew about these accusations uh, before it was published, and that's why there was such a rift between them, or what's your opinion on that?
I don't want to speculate on that because if that was the case, if management knew this was coming up, let's just say, I would have tried to trade him. I'm sorry.
ASAP. And not ask for so much.
No, I would have taken whatever deal you're willing to give me. And I'm like, that would be funny. You got 2 number ones? I'll give them to you for 2 number ones.
Let me get 2 number 2s and a case of Labatt. How about that?
Yeah,
Go ahead, come get them.
I would have traded. I told you, before this craziness, if they would have offered me, if the Bears would have offered Houston, if I was the Houston GM, what they offered Seattle, I would have traded them. As long as Leo Mack was part of that deal, I would have traded him. I'd have been like, goodbye. And I remember also saying, hey, if that was the case, maybe Teddy Bridgewater would become available. And look at Teddy Bridgewater now. Guy's going to be available. So I would have just picked him up, ran with him for a year or two while I drafted a quarterback or brought somebody else in. Yeah. I would have been all right. You would have been okay. Now, nobody's going to touch Deshaun Watson with a 10-foot pole until this is all done. So now they could have a quarterback. Have a quarterback who didn't want to play for them. You still got to pay them. They have to get on this exempt list, and you're screwed with him for a few years more. So, again, hopefully the allegations are false and whatever, and he comes back and everything's golden. I mean, Nike already suspended their endorsement with him. Reliant Energy has dropped him as the brand ambassador. Beats by Dre dropped him already. Man, you can let the dogs bark. Don't worry about it. We're here.
Yeah, I hear him.
And what is this? HEB? Don't know what the hell that is. I guess they dropped him too. So the hits are coming, man. I mean, Rolex, he's still part of Rolex. And I think it was like some kind of cheesesteak company or something. I don't know. They still have him as a sponsor. But the bricks are falling, and they're falling pretty quick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. He needs to get that figured out. moving on, we hit on it a little bit. Sam Darnold finally got traded from the Jets. He goes to Carolina for a 6th-round pick this year and a 2nd and a 4th-round pick next year. Personally, I think the Jets made out with this trade. And their GM pretty much said, what was it? I was looking at really quick that he doesn't give two shits what people think, if it was good or bad. He said pretty much, listen, we didn't give him the weapons he needed to succeed. He believes in him, and he thinks he'll have a great future. But, he did what he had to do or something like that. But it was kind of funny that he said he doesn't give two shits for what people think. And he did it. I mean, getting a 6 this year and a 2 and a 4 for next year. I'm looking more at the 2 and 4 next year. Not even so much the 6 this year.
For this year, yeah.
Personally, I think Jets got the best of the deal. What do you think?
You think the Jets got the best of the deal? I don't know. Sam Darnold, man, listen, with some good weapons, he's dangerous. I like him. He's still only 23 years old. He's still a young guy, so he's still got a lot of potential. The only question is about this whole trade is where's Teddy Bridgewater going to land? Now he's going to be available. Where's he going to wind up? But I actually think Panthers made out pretty good. I mean, it's a 6 this year, 2 and 4 next year. The Jets are just getting them more picks, just like the Miami Dolphins, man. They're loaded with picks. They're rebuilding. So that pretty much tells me the top 4 picks are probably in this draft are probably going to be all quarterbacks if you really look at it. And there's some people potentially saying that the Patriots might trade up to the 3rd spot and get a quarterbacks, but we'll talk about that in the next upcoming weeks. That's 3 weeks left for the draft, so next week or so, or probably 2 weeks from now, we'll do our show on our exact picks on what we need. We'll talk about it a little bit today, but I think we pretty much have one of the best rosters on paper in terms of depth also. So the only things I think we need in terms of the Buffalo Bills might be an edge rusher, because our edge rusher, Jerry Hughes, is a little older. He's 34, 35. So I think we're looking for edge rusher, probably a number 2 cornerback, even though Levi back with us for a year. Was it a year or 2 year that he got signed back on again? Levi Wallace, 1 year.
Everybody's getting 1 year.
I think we just need a backup on corner, and with the news, you're probably going to touch on it with Dean Marler and so on. So I'm not going to jump ahead, but it's going to be a crazy draft for us. I don't know. Do we draft down on our 30th pick? Do we go down, or we move up? I mean, these are questions that we got. But if you guys have any input, Buffalo Bills fans, if you're on here and want to let us know what you guys think we need to do, chime in for sure. But it's gonna be one of the toughest drafts in my opinion, because we're pretty much deep at in depth in every position. But like I said, the position that I addressed, corner and edge rush is pretty much the number one, in my opinion, is what Buffalo Bills need right now.
See, I agree with some of the things. The one thing they have done, because we're talking about the moves they did also, is that if you look at it, they've picked up players or positions they need. So it's almost they're getting into the draft and they could go any way they want. If I'm, you're looking at it. I mean, right now, if you go, I would say if they were going to trade for a player in this draft, I would say move up to Pitts and get Pitts, the tight end.
Yeah.
Again, it all depends on what the asking price. I'm not going to give up a number 1 next year. I'm not going to give up something crazy. I'll give you my number 1 this year and maybe a 3rd or a 4th rounder. Again, I'm not going too crazy, because if you look at it, the problem is everybody's going to hope that the cap goes up next year. And if the cap goes up to normal, then we're not going to have an issue. You'll be able to re-sign a lot of these players who are on 1-year deals. You're going to be able to sign Allen. You're going to be able to do these things. Because if you're looking on paper right now, or just say starters are Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, or Zach Moss. But right now on paper, ESPN has Devin Singletary, Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley. Dawson Knox is returning as our tight end, probably as the starter. I don't know if Jacob Hollister will beat him out or not. Dawkins, Feliciano, Morse, Cody Ford, Darrell Williams. So our line is intact. We just signed even more guys, so we got a lot of depth right now. Vote Getter. I was messed up his name. Ike there.
Ike Vodka.
Yeah. I'll just say Ike. Ike is still on the team because nobody offered him more money as of yet. So, somebody could beat us out. And then the Bills have the chance, I believe, to match it. And then if you go down to the defense again, you got Jerry Hughes. Okay. Like you said, he's long in the tooth there. This guy, Effie Obata. Now, if he comes in and steps up next year, they could give him a longer contract. Jerry Hughes' contract is up next year, so that's money coming off. Vernon Butler's one of our defensive tackles, and Oliver's the other. Mario Addison's our other end, unless, AJ steps up. AJ was a rookie last year, so we have AJ, so hopefully he takes that next step. We have a lot of youth on this squad. Mono's back. Trey's going to have his deal probably next year too. AJ Klein, who knows? I think it was a 2-year deal or something like that. So I don't know if his contract's – I'd have to look if his contract's up after this year. And then you just got Terrell Adams. So if Terrell Adams steps up, you could give him a longer contract next year if you don't want to resign Klein. I mean, Jordan is not going nowhere. Hyde's not going nowhere. Levi Wallace is like everybody's like, well, the Bills could go corner because of Levi Wallace. He gets picked on. Yeah, he's got picked on because nobody's throwing the tray. It's like we said.
Exactly.
And he's getting better. That's what happens. You get better. People are picking on you. If you have that strong mentality, you're going to keep going, and you're going to get better. He had a few picks last year. And then you get the rookie coming in, Dane Jackson, from last year, coming in his second year. He's going to put in work. All these guys are putting in work. So me, if I wanted to get crazy, I would either trade for Pitts or nothing. Maybe a defensive end, maybe a corner, just for depth and future.
Yeah.
Because Jerry will be gone, and that kid might be ready for next year to step into that starting role with AJ. That's what I'm looking.
Yeah, another person you forgot, Teron Johnson. I think he made another $750,000 above his salary and bonuses and stuff like that. But another thing too, we got I think $4.7 million above the cap now, or under the cap, that we're good. What is it? What is it? Update me, bro.
I put it on here. That's what I've read today. They said we're at $5.6 million.
That's even better. I thought you were gonna bust my butt. I like that. That's even better though. But go ahead.
And they're counting, say, 2 point something of that should be going to rookie contracts for the guys coming in.
Okay. So, now we got 7 picks in this draft. Yeah. We've signed on, I believe, 12 or 13 free agents. So we pretty much got all our needs accomplished, pretty much. If you really look at it, we're going to break it down too about when it comes to draft. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're actually going to get some draft or get our drafts? Or you think we're going to move up? You think we're going to move down? Or you think there going to be some trades included with those draft picks and get some other different free agents? Or what do you think is going to happen?
Right now with the money,
it's a hard call. It's such a hard call, man.
Yeah, they have $5 million, so it's not going to be. They can't really go out there crazy unless they're going to try to do bonus money and blah 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 and try to work a deal out like that. I don't know, unless like they love Pitts. There's no reason to move up for anybody. I don't think. Unless there's a player you're going to want who's going to start day one or he's really crazy and they love him. No reason to go. I think our team is pretty good. Yeah, you could get better and get more depth, but I think they could go anywhere. And if they're going to trade, like if I'm the GM and I'm going to trade, I'm just trading for Pitts because we could get better at tight end. Then I'll say, hey, I'll give you my first. If you want to get crazy, a third and a fourth. What do you say? I don't know. They might want more.
I'm also actually thinking about, with the return of Star Lutulele, being that he sat out last year, I wonder what that situation is going to be like. Is he going to come back? Are they going to get rid of him? So I think they're going to be looking at a DT too, man. In my opinion, I think they might be looking at, if that kid from Alabama, I forgot his name, man. The defensive tackle from Alabama.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I forgot his name too, but he was like, he only weighs like 310 or something.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, hey, it's like anything else. You go into college, they bulk you up. It's going to be a year like AJ Epinesa. I don't know what happened with him. They made him lose weight. He actually looks slimmer than when he.
Usually these guys lose. That's the problem. Like I said, usually these guys are losing weight. or putting on losing weight and just adding muscle. Okay, so
Yeah,
they lost some fat, but muscle weighs more supposedly, so they should be
yeah.
weighing more. Uh,
I know.
our guys are small, and that's
I
my
know.
one complaint. And I've said it last year. I tell you all the time. I tell Kyle all the time. I
Yeah.
want a 350-pound plus defensive tackle to plug the hole
You want
with
a
the run.
Washington in there.
Yeah, Sam Adams, Ted Washington, one of
Yeah.
those guys to plug the hole, like a Warren Sapp big boy plugs the hole. It frees up Ed Oliver if you're going to keep him at defensive tackle.
You want a guy that just gets in the trenches, and when they're gonna run to him, just grab grass and just stay there and just plug the hole and make the guys bounce out. That's what you want.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm with you, man. But is Star gonna come back? Are the guys gonna excel? I mean, we talked
Star,
about this a couple of shows back. He's coming back, but he was the only one that really opted out. Now, how is that going to be looked at in the locker room? Like, are guys going to be like, "Hey, you did what you had to do for your family," or are they going to be like, "Hey, man, we could have used you. We would have took us that step further, in the AFC Championship because we were getting, gassed up the middle or whatever." We don't know what the locker room's going to be like.
they could bust his chops. You got to respect it, and they're
Yeah,
not going to cut him because I think if they cut him,
contract. Yeah,
his contract is all dead money. Like
yep, yep,
you're still paying for him, so why just not just keep him? You're going to pay that
yeah,
contract. You have to pay the whole thing. You're just going to keep him for one more year. I
yeah.
believe he only has one more year. If I scroll down here, so I mean he's not going to go nowhere. I wouldn't cut him to just pay
No,
him to stay home.
I'm hoping he comes and balls out. That would be fantastic, man. Just comes in and be like, "Yeah, I see you guys miss me." I'll be like, "Hey, I ain't mad at you. As long as he plugs up that middle and does what he's supposed to do, we'll be all right."
Dude, I'm lying. His contract for this year is 7.6 million. Next year
Ain't
is
no dead money.
9.3 million. And the year after that it's
Yeah,
8.9 million. So I don't
I
know if
figured
they
it'd be like
cut
three,
him.
4 years.
I think if they cut him at a certain point before next year, then it's okay. But if they cut him this year, I think it's like
Oh, we're
his
gonna take
whole
a hit.
contract.
6, 7
is-
million.
Yeah, it's I think his whole contract is 7.6 million.
Yeah.
It has to be paid out regardless. So again, keep him there. Hopefully he's fresh because he hasn't played.
Star,
And
get to work, bro. Get to work.
they, they're all going to get to work soon. Uh, yeah, anyway, if you think, where would you think, or where do you think, or say, they said there's teams looking at him. Where do you believe Teddy might go? I don't think he wants to sit. I think he wants to go somewhere and possibly start. You know,
I don't know, man. That's a tough one, man.
and you already
I don't
have
know.
players saying, "Hey, man, Teddy's better than Darnold right now." So,
Already in the locker room, already getting all tore up. Yeah. I don't
uh,
know. I mean, what are the possibilities? What, Chicago? You think?
uh, well, no, who did Chicago? Oh, they got Nick Foles. Was it Nick Foles? Not Nick
Oh,
Foles.
yeah.
Well, they still
No,
have Nick
no.
Foles, but they got the Red Rifle Dalton,
Yeah, yeah. The kid
right?
from Dallas. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dalton. So I don't know if
Yeah,
he's
that's
going
not.
there.
He ain't going over there. Yeah. Yeesh.
I'm trying to look at Jacksonville, but no, they're gonna have the number one draft pick.
On pick. Yeah.
And Gardner Minshew, people are supposedly reaching out to Jacksonville about Gardner Minshew. I like Gardner Minshew as a backup. The guy's
He's all
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
He's
Uh,
crazy.
Philly, I don't know about that.
Nah.
You have Washington, but they got Fitzmagic. If Washington gets Teddy Bridgewater, man, if Fitzmagic has to get mad or pissed because it's like, really, you brought me here, now you're bringing Teddy.
I don't think
too?
so.
So
I don't think so. But you never know.
no, you don't. Saints got Winston, so they don't really need him back there. If San Fran trades Garoppolo, maybe, but he's not going to be the answer either. He's going to be a backup, man. Sad to say.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, unless you go to Chicago and try to beat out Dalton. Unless
Now,
you go
if we didn't get Trubisky, I would have been like, you know what? With the ties that the Buffalo Bills have with the Carolina Panthers, it might be a chance that Teddy come over here and back us up. But being that we got Trubisky, I think it's safe to say, he's not coming to Buffalo. So
no,
we'll see how that goes. But you never know with the ties that Buffalo has with the Carolina Panthers.
The only good thing is that Bridgewater wasn't there when Payton and Bean were there, so they won't be coming our way. So at least we know that part,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're safe. I have no idea where the guy would go, and who the hell knows? Dennis Bolger said, "Hey, he could take away the job up in New England." Yeah, he could beat out Cam. I think you're right.
Ooh.
German actually commented, "Go Jets, German. You got to send me your number. I lost all my contacts." Bolger, you sent me your number too, Mush. I don't have them. I lost all my contracts on my phone, my contacts on my phone like 2 weeks ago. What's up, guys? Got to get your beer on here, German, so I could be like, "Yo, Susuyo Ale, made down in Central Jersey." We'll have a sip of it. All right, moving on. Let's see. Shaq Lawson, ex Buffalo Bill, got traded. He went from Miami. They said, "No more Shaq here. You keep pumping up the Buffalo Bills. You got to go." Shipped him off down to Houston for a linebacker. So they didn't even get picks for him. They traded for a linebacker, Benardrick McKinney. Don't know. Didn't look up his stats, but it's funny to see Shaq go down there. And he said he's happy because Lovie Smith, which I didn't know, got hired as their defensive coordinator. And he likes playing the 4-3. So he's happy to be sticking his hands back in the dirt or AstroTurf and rush the passer. So good for Shaq. They reconstructed his contract. I think he's going to make his $7 million.
So now they got two. They got two ex Buffalo Bills. They got Tyrod and Shaq. So
yeah, I think I like Shaq a little more than Tyrod, but you know,
oh, yeah.
I'll root for them. But we'll see what happens with those guys. Patrick Mahomes, Mr. Haterade himself. He had his walking boot off, taking pictures with his team Adidas. So it's good for him. His walking boot is off. Now, another thing I saw today, which was kind of cool, is that Linda, German's wife, said, Hi, Linda. How you doing?"
Hi, Linda.
Yeah. The Bengals announced they're finally going to have like a Ring of Honor. And the first two inaugural guys are Hall of Famers Paul Brown and Antonio Munoz. You know why? Antonio Munoz was one of the first, well, not really. There was a few Spanish players in the day, but I think he might have been one of the first Mexican players in the NFL and Hall of Fame. So kudos to him, especially because we're Viva Los Bills, both Puerto Rican, represent. What up? Hold on.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Munoz.
It's to you, Munoz.
Yeah, cheers. He was always like a good player.
Salute. That's what you guys say.
That's true. What else we got? That's kind of cool. Former Denver cornerback AJ Bouye has signed a deal with the Carolina Panthers. They're making more moves. One thing I saw was Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know if you saw that. He said that Andy Reid was trying to get him to the team. He called him, had a conversation with him, was sending him pictures.
I didn't see that.
Said he was sending him pictures of the Lombardi trophies, trying to get him, recruit him to Kansas City. And Juju said if it wasn't him re-signing in Pittsburgh, he probably would have went to Kansas City. So, you know what? I'm glad Juju re-signed in Pittsburgh. Kansas City has enough damn players. They didn't need no Juju over there either.
Yeah.
You know? Other news, the NFL. Where is this? I thought I had it up here. Oh, man, I'm slacking. Let me go see if I can get this real quick. Let's upload this. The NFL ended up putting out the names of the players who were invited to Cleveland for the draft. So there you go. You got Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith. There's the guy I said I would possibly trade up. Kyle Pitts, Christian Barmore. You know, what's sad is I really haven't looked up the draft yet. Micah Parsons, Caleb Fairley, Patrick Surtain too. Oh, the second. That must be Patrick Surtain's son. Look at that. So this is the first squad of players that are going to be there, and I guess we'll be able to watch. Probably a lot of the guys are going to be home watching the draft like they did last year because of the whole COVID thing. So we'll see. We'll see if the Bills get any of these players. You know what we could do is we could do the whole draft. I think we did it last year. Our picks that everybody's going to pick, and then we did the whole Bills show a second week. So what do we got? A few weeks to this? The 29th is
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah, 29. About 3 weeks.
Either next
but it's going to be so tough to call because, like I said, we pretty much are we going to get our 7 picks? I mean,
Well,
what are really our needs? You know.
we're gonna pick it like I guess we'll do 7 picks, and maybe we could do a prediction like, all right, the Bills are gonna trade and blah, they're gonna go after somebody.
But it's so hard because, like, number one, I think our first pick is the 30th pick in the first round.
Yeah.
In the first round, yeah, 30th pick, and then from then on, I mean, we way down there. So how the heck are we gonna? Nobody's gonna be on the board left that we would probably think that would go. So these guys that we're gonna pick are probably be guys that we never even think about. To be honest with you, so
Well,
it's gonna be tough, man.
just look at what the so-called pros say. You know, a lot of them have them taking a running back. A lot of them haven't taken DNs,
Yeah.
and a lot of them have what's it called? DNs, offensive linemen. Anthony, what's going on? Saying Buffalo will no beard. That's Mr. Mutz, Mr. Mozzarella man.
We when the season start, that's when we stop shaving. That's what I did last season. By the time the end of the season, we look like two maniacs.
I shaved because the damn mask is too hot to have all that beard sticking me in my face and my lips and my nose. So I was like, I have to shave. When we get rid of the beards, I mean the little mask, we'll start putting up my beard again. Scott Reed, what's up, guys? What's going on, Scott? Thanks for joining on the show. Scott. Anthony, you should be happy that Sam Darnold's finally gone. He's a Jet fan. So let us know. You can put a comment. I'll read it out over here. Also, people watching, we go through StreamYard. So if you want to comment and we are able to put it out, you got to give like StreamYard permissions. And when you do that, I'll be able to shoot it out instead of reading it out. But I always look on my right-hand side, see who's commenting, and I read the comments no matter what. Unless it's really bad, I'm not reading it. Don't mess with the Bills. Keep it real. I'm kidding. You guys put whatever you want. I read it. Ex-Buffalo Bill, I'm a little sad about this guy leaving. Dean Marlowe. He signed a deal with the Detroit Lions. The details of the deal haven't been disclosed yet. But I like Dean Marlowe. He was pretty good. He was our backup safety. He came in and played well. Good for him. Maybe he'll get a starting job in Detroit. Either way, he has got a job. I'll root for him. I always root for ex-Bills, no matter where they go, unless they're in some crappy team I really don't like. But good for him. Glad he found a home. Too bad it wasn't with us. So there you go. That's a position. Either we shift somebody up in there, even though we drafted safeties last year, so they could go fill in that spot. I mean, we had Josh Thomas. He's a rookie. He could slide in there. Who else? Jaquan Johnson. He's still around. So that is a position. Saron Neal, he could slide over to safety, but they've been playing him more at corner. That's a position we could draft either in the later rounds, because in all honesty, Poyer and Hyde have at least 2 years each there. They're not going nowhere. Yeah. So whoever gets drafted is going to probably sit for 2 years.
If we get a corner, I like that kid. Oh God, I forgot his name. I think you said him earlier. The kid from Florida State, and his father played for the NFL too, and he's a corner.
Yeah. Was it this kid? Hold on. Not Patrick Surtain, no, because he's
no. His dad played for the NFL too. Now I can't. It escapes my mind, but he played for Florida State, and he's a corner. That's a kid I think we should look at too if he's still there. I might look him up while you talk. Go ahead. Now I'm intrigued because I read it during the week. I'm like, this kid would be perfect. Go ahead.
I know who you're talking about too. Asante Samuel.
Yeah, Asante Samuel Jr. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott. Scott put it on the side. Scott Reed, Jaquan Johnson, Miami, and Saron Neal will now be our backups. That's right. See that? We just said that too.
Yep.
And yeah. So thanks for that. Little hit me up right there. See how to get over. I was looking at our roster.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks, Scott, for interacting. All right. On some of the moves that the Bills did last week or this week, boom. Mr. Forrest Lamp has signed with the Buffalo Bills. He played 4 years with the Chargers. He played 25 games and started 18. He didn't miss a game last year while blocking for Justin Herbert. In 2018, he tore his ACL, and I believe in 2019 he ended up hurting his leg and played only a few games. He didn't finish the year. I think he finished on IR or something like that. So again, he's an offensive guard, much needed depth. So he's just adding on to that depth we have. We have our main starters, and now I mean this guy started every game last year for the Chargers. So I mean, that's nice. That's pretty big, and they got him at a pretty good deal.
One more
Uh,
1 year deal. Yeah.
yeah, I mean the Bills. That's what I'm saying is like they're making these moves. They have depth. Yeah, it's 1 year contracts. You don't know what's going to happen for next year. You could extend them or whatever. The guy's young still, but you could go draft whatever you want, or you take the best player on the board and say, okay, we're going to run with him.
At the
He's the best
time.
player on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And I
you
think
have.
that's what's probably going to
Yeah,
wind up happening. I mean, that makes the most sense. But then again, with Bean, you never know. You never know what he got up his sleeve. But it does to me and you. It makes sense. Like, hey, just draft the best player available on the board,
yeah.
and just take them and see what goes. But because we don't really need depth, we got our core guys. We got our whole offensive line, pretty much our whole defense back.
Well,
We got
I
some
don't.
depth guys.
But the thing is this, man. Scott over here is saying he's going to be our starting left guard. So Scott's saying he's going to beat out Feliciano.
Ooh,
What?
nah, Feliciano can move in.
What?
I don't know, man.
Oh
I don't know
man,
about
Scott.
Feliciano. That's a bold prediction. You need to write that down so we could give him props if he's right. But I don't know about that. That's a tough one. Feliciano, I think, is the anchor of the whole line, man. To be honest with you.
Oh, he's saying okay. He just commented. He's saying they're gonna move Feliciano to right guard. All right, so
Yeah.
you're moving.
Okay, that
So
makes more sense.
hold on though. Hold on. Now you're taking
We'll go
Cody
forward.
Ford and
Yeah,
shifting him
forward.
to the bench.
I don't
Come
know,
on, man. Cody Ford's healthy.
man.
Ford is
With that,
nasty, Scott.
hey,
I don't know if you could go do that, Scott. Come on now.
nah, but there's definitely gonna be some competition. You
Yes.
know, in the offensive line, it's gonna be competitive in camp, and I think
Uh,
let's see what happens with COVID. At least there will be a training camp and preseason. See what happens. See how they fight it out. But do I see him taking? I mean, he started 16 games last year, 17
yeah.
games or whatever it was. And Justin Herbert, man, I mean, he had some good numbers, had good protection.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how that plays out with against Cody Ford.
Scott put laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, listen, the one thing McDermott does, he lets anybody go for that job, and if you earn the job, it's your
Yeah,
job. You
you got to
know,
earn it.
you got to earn it, so you can't go in there slacking. Feliciano can't slack. Cody Ford can't slack, especially because Scott said, "Yo, you're gonna get booted." So
That's true.
there you go. He said, "Iron sharpens iron." We have great depth.
Yes, sir.
That we do. And another guy they added was this guy right here, Jamil Douglas. Also an offensive guard, depth guy. He signed to a 1 year contract. He has been in 46 career games, but only has started 11 of them. And he has 4 playoff games under his belt, 1 in 2020 and 3 in 2019. So again, there you go. Even more offensive depth at the offensive line. And this guy, again, he's only been in the league, 4 years or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
These are all young guys who, had some injury problems or whatever. But if they're healthy, dude, if Lamb is healthy, that guy's a beast. This guy,
Yes, sir.
he's been blocking for Tannehill in the playoffs, pushing that offensive line up or defensive line back for Henry. So they're putting in work. Everybody's putting in work. Iron sharpens iron. That's right, Scott.
Yep.
It's just going to push everybody to get better.
Since we got that signing, I'm going to go with that kid. I think in the draft, I think we might get a DT, like I told you. And actually, his name is Christian Barmore. That's the kid from Alabama I was talking to you about. Yeah. And being with the uncertainty with Star, they're going to have to push Star, man. But Star's going to have to, you just don't get your job after, calling out sick for the year, So they're gonna. I think we're gonna get a D tackle, and I think that's the kid we need to look at. I'm gonna have him on my list in the following weeks. Just keep that name in mind, Christian Barmore out of the DT out of Alabama. So I think that's gonna be another good signing if we could get him in the draft.
One thing I didn't even know, but I'm looking over here. Jerry Hughes' contract is done after this year.
Yeah.
Vernon Butler, I didn't know his contract is done after next year. So, I mean, Star Latulier has 3 years on his contract. He's a little long in the tooth, but if he could plug the hole, he's going to plug it. If they could get rid of him next year without eating a lot of dead money, they probably will because he's set to make $9.3 million. And that's pretty
I know.
a nice chunk of change.
Hit.
Yeah.
That's that. But bottom line, that's what I think we needed just the edge rushers, and the cornerback, pretty much.
Well, and like you said, listen, Harrison Phillips, he's not making much. He's been a depth guy. Last year he played better. his contract's done at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He's only making 1.1 million. I can't really see him commanding a lot of cash. He hasn't lived up to that. So,
Yeah.
he could be a discounted defensive tackle, to come in and relieve people. Brian Cox Jr., we didn't really see him last year.
No.
His contract's over. Justin Zimmer is a guy who stepped up big. I'd rather see him in there than Phillips. Sad to say, I like Phillips. I like these guys, but you got to.
I like Phillips. I think Phillips is on the upside, though, man. I mean, he's a beast, man. That's why they call him Horrible Harry. I mean, he does a lot of work in the trenches, but could he do a little bit better? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this year.
Yeah. Scott's with you, cousin Vin. Lim McNeil from North Carolina State is the next best up after Christian Baymore. They were saying, I was reading, like, Baymore is more of a work in progress, and that if they do get him to step up, then he could be that guy. But as of right now, you've seen him step it up, and then some like, eh. So, and Scott is asking, is Star Lotulelei really in football shape? The one thing we
that's what I'm talking about.
I know, if he's not, then there's an issue. You took a whole year off. You should be healthy. No aches and pains. You should have been working out. Now you just got to take it to that next level. Yeah. He should come back even hungrier.
That's what we're hoping anyway.
Yeah. This guy, crazy man, real quick. Look at this, man. It's 51 minutes into the show already. All right. Josh Allen was debating whether to get the COVID vaccine or not. He said he was looking into more of the studies and see where it goes. If it's better for him to get it, he'll get it. If it's not, he won't. So he's still up in the air, pretty much like almost every American around contemplating, or anybody contemplating, hey, is this COVID-19 shot the real answer or not? So he's still up in the air.
Hey, I don't like that picture. I don't like that picture. It looks like he's fumbling the ball. Yeah. You need to crop it next time. I don't like that. It kind of worries me.
I really didn't know, but you can see he's celebrating or something.
Okay. I hope that's what it is.
He also said he's open to extension talks with the Bills at any time, even tomorrow. But he also said that, hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And he's not worried about it. He's going to play.
He loves Buffalo.
Yeah, no matter what. And when the time comes to sign ink to paper, he's ready to do that. And another comment he made, he was like, he didn't think it was smart to franchise tag a player, or it's not smart for the team either. And he brought up Dak Prescott, like, hey, they should have signed that deal a year ago, and they would have had the same thing, probably saved money. And it wasn't really good for Dak because he got hurt, And if they didn't re-sign him to the contract they did, the poor guy would be pretty much asked out. Scott also said, hey, we have 3 preseason games to find out about Star Lotulelei, which is true. And he said, good topics tonight, fellas. Thanks, Scott. It's always easier when you guys.
Thanks, Scott, man. Appreciate it.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, he made some valid points, man. Made some good points in there. I appreciate that.
Hold on, Scott. What are you trying to say? We talk smack? All right, let's move on. This is a guy we touched base on last year, was Dane Jackson. He's been working out actually with the Rams' Aaron Darnold. They don't really know each other. Well, I guess they do, but they both went to Pitt. They didn't play together because Darnold already graduated when Dane came in. But they have the same alumni, and they're working out together. Working out with Aaron Donald is not a bad thing. So it's pretty cool to see him. A lot of people think he might be challenging Levi Wallace for that other starting corner spot. He came in, started a few games, I think 1 or 2 games last year, and looked really good. He wasn't getting toasted or burnt up. So this guy can possibly take Wallace's spot, or at least challenge him. And we have a bright future on that other corner. That's why a lot of people telling me, hey, take corner right off the bat, that they really need a corner. They didn't watch this guy play, I guess, because he could step up and do some work. Yeah. Scott said, nah, like we're not talking junk the other week. Just joking around, Scott. Just joking around. That's what we do. Stephon Diggs, we touched on a bit because you were celebrating with his jersey, even though that might be a Fitzpatrick jersey you're wearing, telling me it's Stephon Diggs. So you're not
I'm listening.
I was gonna say if you pay attention. All right, he said he will not change his jersey, like we touched on, even though he was thinking of changing it to number 1 or 7. He said he's not changing it because he didn't want to do it to the fans. And there he is. He's just showing it that it is a Stephon Diggs. He's not giving us that. So good stuff. What is it? Another thing you touched on real quick was Bam.
Hey, you having too much fun, man. That beer must be really good over there.
No, you know what? This is the way the show should be. We should be having fun.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Here we go. Marty Jones from one of our shows. Pardon the interrupt your lunch, I believe it is, or interrupt your lunch. I'll link that contract. Heck, give me one. Good show, boys. Thanks. Oh, so we have to have Marty. The show too. Again, Marty stepped in one day. You were off. Also, what the F travels to Buffalo this year? When the time comes, friendly wager will be in place. Intercept your lunch versus Viva Los Bills. Oh yeah,
absolutely. Hey, and you know what? It's the last game of the season, from what I understand. So it's gonna be intriguing.
Right, I read it too quick. I was like, "What the F travels to Buffalo?" Like I was thinking something else. Yeah, we'll have a wager. We'll do something. Marty's got to have
absolutely.
Marty, we got to be on your show, Marty. What's going on? We're not really getting much invites to other shows, except for the K show did have us on last year. So K show comes on before us. And Fred Martin, he had me on. Fred Kilmartin had me on one of his shows too. So shout out to Fred. We have to have Fred on here too. Maybe next week or the week after that. Another guy we got to have are the guys from Sip Sip Chug. Anyway, I have Tyron Johnson up here talking about all this craziness. Listen, you touched on it earlier. He led the Bills in performance-based bonus pay for 2020, adding $578,000 with, $749. I messed that all up. Let me get back to this so I can take this off. Good Lord. Where am I? I'm lost. Here we go. Bam, now you can see our ugly faces again. I think that is it for all our notes here, man.
Yeah, man.
Marty hopping out. Scott, thanks for all the comments tonight.
Thanks for joining, man.
That was good.
For sure.
Makes the show move faster. I'm looking over here to see if we had anything else. Marty was here. I didn't even see it before because I didn't jump pages. Anybody on here? Nope, nobody comment on there. So we're looking good. Let's see. Okay, my buddy Dennis sent me his number. I got to save it now. And that's about it, man. Listen, we talked about it. The draft, first night of the draft is April 29th. So next week, we could have a regular, normal show like we do every week. Maybe we'll get the guys from Sip Sip Chug. I think I'll reach out to them, have them on the show because they like to sip, and chug. You know what? We're kind of doing that too. Maybe they could get us some contacts in Buffalo to get some of these Buffalo Pilsners that are out there, Buffalo Bills inspired Pilsners or IPAs.
That's right.
And we can put them out there. Maybe I'll get Susio beers from Central Jersey by German Messe and have some of those things.
Don't forget, tune in. We'll have 2 new beers next week.
That's right. 2 new beers. I'm going to have to reach out to somebody for sponsorship because I'm not promoting these beers out here.
Hey, so let me ask you a question since we're doing this thing with the beer. That beer you got there, say it again. What was it again?
Dogfish Head. So that's the name.
Okay, now we're gonna let's give it. We got 2 minutes left on the show. Okay,
right.
Let's give it on a 1 to 10, and we're gonna have to probably keep a log on the numbers. What do you?
Hold on. Scott saying, "Have a good night, fellas. Good night, Scott."
Take care, Scott.
And a half left. Go ahead, rate it. You want me to rate this?
1 to 10. A matter of fact, let's go to 1 to 5, man. 10 is too much. 1 to 5. What you give it?
I could probably drink like 3 of these. By the way, he said great Dogfish Head is a great beer.
It is a good beer.
I like it. Like I have a few. It's not too heavy. I don't know, 4 maybe. I guess.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Hey, this Labatt Blue. Yeah. It kind of reminds me like a Coors Light or a Bud Light. It's a little bit on the light side, even though it's a Pilsner. I kind of like it for a hot day. I would drink it, especially if I'm at a Miami game or something like that. If I could sneak one of these in, I'll drink it. So I'm gonna go with a 3.9. You know what I'm saying? It's a little light for me because I like IPAs. So you know what I mean. I'm an
We got
IPA guy.
3.9. Listen to this guy.
Out of a
3.9.
5. Yeah. Hey. This is not a beer that you could drink with your pinky up. Okay, put it that way. This is a blue collar Buffalo Bill beer right here. If it's a Buffalo,
right
if there
color.
ever is a Buffalo Bill beer, this would be it right here. So I'm giving it 3.9.
Colors match. Colors match.
And by the way, 3.9 out of a 5. I don't want nobody sending me any DMs talking about, hey, 3.9 out of a 10. No, it's 3.9 out of a 5, so it's a pretty decent number.
There you go. And that's
we'll see what we got for next week.
Yes. So next week we'll have another, I guess, normal show. The week after that, I guess we'll pick the top 32 draft picks, or what we think will be, and then the night
from each team. We're gonna do it from each team.
Yeah, the week before we do the whole Bills draft, we'll do everybody's pick from 1 to 32.
Okay.
I'm not getting crazy with trades, so I'll just say everybody keeps their pick, and we'll go on from there. And then the second week before the draft, we'll do all the Bills picks. So next week will be fun. Mess around, then we got to do some homework and try to make believe we're pros at this. Anyway.
Remember, guys, this show is by the fans, for the fans. Just remember that I ain't no pro.
Dude, but you're like reading my mind because I was going to say that. It's kind of crazy. And as always, let's throw this up real quick. Hey, follow us on Twitter at Viva Los Bills. On Facebook, just join our group page. Anybody could join. Viva Los Bills. You can post whatever you want on there as long as you keep it clean. And subscribe to us. Follow us on YouTube. We repost this show on YouTube either tonight or the next day. So if anybody missed it, you want to tell somebody, go check it out, check it out. And on that note, we're saying adios. Good night. Go Buffalo.
Peace.
Next week. Nos vemos. Adiós. Hasta la próxima. Y todo.